Bravo, bravo, bravo. That's what Allegri was yelling yesterday after he received a red card in the Bologna game for talking to the referee about a penalty that should have been a penalty so clearly, but it wasn't given. And the only reason I'm not yelling right now, sitting here, is because we won. Milan won the game 1-0, but that decision at the end of the game was so horrendous, diabolical, that it just cannot be overlooked. Because what happened was so clear and obvious that even the referee got it the first time. Okay? Nkunku was there, got the ball in front of the goal. He was all alone, one-on-one with the keeper. Okay? And then the defender just tackled him. It was like a football tackle. Like knee up, knee to the stomach, from the side. Not a chance of getting the ball whatsoever. It was so obvious. And the referee awarded a penalty for that. Quite obviously. That was his first decision. And that was the right decision. And then Nkunku was on the floor, but the referee waited so it didn't blow his whistle. So the play went on. So Nkunku got tackled. He's on the ground at this point. But then the game goes on. And so he kind of just, the ball is still there. So he somehow just scoops it. And then as he tries to continue his attack on goal, another defender from out of nowhere trips him. All within 5 seconds? And at that point, the referee blows the whistle and says, penalty. But because VAR exists, the referee had to consult his assistant, review the whole thing. It was so obvious, but he needed to do that, and he did, and that's fine. So they call him out to the sidelines to take a look at the video, and then they put the whole incident on the screen, and it was on TV, but they don't show the push, they don't show the tackle. That was the obvious penalty. That was not part of the review. In what world? How is that acceptable? They were showing the trip. I think both of those fouls were worth a penalty, but they were only reviewing the second one. And then the referee, for whatever ungodly reason, says, oh no, that was not a penalty. Penalty revoked. What the hell, dude? You weren't even looking at the right thing. The push was the penalty. And in what world can we afford to have video reviews and not give that as a penalty? How is that acceptable in today's age? And this is just one other example of how horrendously misused VAR is, especially in Serie A, but I'm not watching a lot of other leagues, but I'm pretty sure that this was not the only instance. And this has been going on and on and on for years in Italy. And this is just another example for how terrible it's used sometimes. Like in this instance, the referee should have said, no, this is not the incident that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the fucking tackle that just happened. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I cannot fault Allegri for just completely losing it. And I do hope that the red card that he got will be overturned, just like this fucking penalty was overturned, because it made no sense whatsoever. So he needs to be on the sidelines this next game. It is completely up to the video assistant to show the right foul that was a clear penalty, but it didn't happen. And it's terrible. That video assistant referee needs to go. No more officiating. Not when it's this obvious. Because yeah, you can make mistakes, but not like this. Terrible. But outside of that, the game was so boring. And I needed to remind myself that I should not have expected anything else, because that's going to be our tactic. Our attack has no teeth whatsoever. We are just not dangerous on goal. I think we had one shot on target in the first half, but I guess it delivers the results, so fine. But there was a tactical decision once again where Allegri sets up one striker and then no supporting midfield for that striker, because everyone in the midfield, except for Modric, who's actually a super god, he showed that today as well, so he's pretty much the only thing that we... And Salamakers, my boy, excuse me, he did the assist today, so that was, you know, I think it validates my point. But the rest of the midfield, Rabiot, Loftus-Cheek, Fofana, not creative players. So how are we expecting to have one striker up front with barely any support? The only support can come from the wings, Salamakers and Estupinian. How can we put Jimenez up front all alone without giving him the ball? He had a few chances throughout the game, which he completely missed, which is his fault. Should have had at least 2 goals. But what are we expecting? The game was boring. The first hour, absolutely just nothing. And then there was that one genius move. The one genius move from Salamakers going into Modric. It's a beautiful pass. I think it was a nutmeg between the legs. Salamakers putting it in. And then Modric arriving at the speed of a 20-year-old. Putting it away beautifully. That was genius. It was a beautiful move. But it wasn't a striker. Our goals are not coming from the striking position. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't know what the solution is. Well, I do. Nkunku is the solution. He came in. He was a fucking beast. We need him. That's what we need. But it was the last 25 minutes, I think. Pulisic coming in, Ricci coming in, Nkunku coming in. All 3 of them. The team just got so much more dynamic from that point. That's what we needed this whole game. And I cannot decide if that was a tactical genius from Allegri, setting up like a mediocre team, defending the goal beautifully, because Bologna didn't have one shot on target, I don't think. Maybe they had one, I don't know. So I don't know, maybe that was the plan. Maybe we were hoping to get a goal from the players that are on the field, like just power through the Bologna team. Not creatively, but power through, bring the brawn and just go through. And then if that didn't work, we still had aces up our sleeves. Pulisic, Nkunku, Ricci, to make a difference in the last 25 minutes. But, you know, that's quite risky if you ask me. So is it tactical genius or is it just luck? Did we just get lucky? Maybe we'll have to see another few games to kind of decide. Because if this will be a repeating pattern, then maybe it's genius. But if we do the same starting 11 and then not win games because our best players are not on the field, maybe this was luck. And I know Nkunku's physical condition, not optimal, whatever. He just arrived 5 days ago. Pulisic, I think he was hurt a little bit still, so not optimal either. But Ricci instead of Fofana, maybe? Like, we don't need Loftus-Cheek and Fofana at the same time. Those two are practically the same. We don't need both of them. Rabiot was great. I like that signing. Should have happened like 10 years ago or 13 years ago, but we're that kind of club now that cannot just pull in the big signings. That's all I really have to say. The biggest positive of this game was obviously Modric, because he's the absolute GOAT. He's the one person on the team that's good to watch. That sounds bad to say, but is that true? And then obviously the biggest negative was the officiating. That penalty call was so terrible. But we got away with it. This time we got away with it. The MVP, obviously Modric. And we march on into next week with a win. It gets us up into the top 5. we just need to keep on keeping on. But let me know in the comments if you're equally enraged by that penalty decision, or maybe you think it wasn't a penalty. Let me know then too, because we can have a debate. But otherwise, I have nothing more to say. That was all from me. See you next time. Ciao.